What's up, you guys? Forrest here from the focoflowshow. Excited for another video, another episode where we're headed out to the George Washington National Forest. I am fully healed, cleared by the doctor, off of blood thinners, and I got a month to get ready for the SM100 on September 6th. So far, it is still on schedule and a go. So me and my buddy Jim, who are doing it together, go out to the Todd Lake area right outside of Stokesville to put in an epic adventure up the death climb, up the killing fields, down Chestnut Ridge. So make sure if you're enjoying the content to like and subscribe, comment below if you've done this ride or others in the area. But no matter what we do, let's get out there and find that flow. Today's adventure started at the Todd Lake area right below the campground. So we're about an hour and 20 minutes from Charlottesville. You're going to drive into the George Washington National Forest, past Stokesville Campground. There's a handful of little trailheads, like the Wild Oak Trail, that you'll pass along the way. But there's a great place to park right here near the lake and get you started on a ride that can take you all over the George Washington National Forest. Looking over at TrailForks, you can see the entire SM100 route here. We're going to do about 43 miles of it based out of that Todd Lake area where you see Skidmore down right at the middle, and we start up and over Hankey Mtn. From the Hankey climb, we top out at the Crying Tree, cruise down Dowells Draft, which is a fun, tight, twisty downhill to the Braley Pond area where we take the road and the gravel up to the area where we start. Forest Road 95, low climb up, which becomes what they call the death climb. Hard right there at the West Virginia border for the death climb proper. On your way up to Red Dodge, but we hang a right there on Bald Mountain Road, which is what they refer to as the killing fields, aptly named for the 15 or 18 fields that you cross on the way, and then down the Chestnut Ridge downhill section, taking a hard right, not on Grooms, but on Skidmore Fork back to the car. So without further ado, let's get moving. You should. All right. 65 degrees at 6:18 in the morning. That ain't bad. Up and over Hankey, Dowells Draft, up the death climb, up the killing fields, down Chestnut, down Skidmore Ridge, Skidmore Trail, whatever, back to the car. Let's do it.
You had a disincentive. In fact, like during the Great...
So I won't bore you too much with the politics and religion that me and Mr. Jim were conversating about on the Hankey Mtn road climb. Here we're about halfway up the climb, getting close to the peak. Just a quick snapshot of what it looks like. It was a little damp, a little soggy, slow spin there. It gets a little steep in spots. I did an earlier video on the Hankey Mtn climb, descent, and then the Lookout Mountain descent. Check that out for more footage of this climb, but suffice it to say we made it to the top with a little bit of gas left in the tank. All right, open up your shock. And we'll take from the Crying Tree down Dowells Draft. Magic moss for whatever reason. I don't know why it's called magic moss, but it's magical. And mossy, I would think. Ease into it here. Make sure those brakes are working. Woo. So hopping into the descent off of Hankey Mtn here, we'll skip through some of the clips. We won't watch the whole thing. This first section is really overgrown. There's a couple extra little climbs in there until you get the true proper descent. Overall, it's tight, it's fast, it's fun. You gotta watch out for some off-camber sections on the way down when you're carrying speed, but overall this is a super fun reward for the first climb that you do. So let's tune in here. We'll get to the highlights as we flow through down to the Braley Pond area. Woo!
rocks. Fun. All right. Good. Up rocks, down rocks, around rocks. Switchback. Loose. Switchback. Oh, he could have gone up there. High line, I'll take the little line today. Hello. Hi. Got one more behind. Thank you very much. Yeah. Woo! Loosen up the hands. Woo! Ah, here we go. I've done this part. Tight and twisty, fast. Well, a little tight mostly. It gets going. Look ahead. Look ahead into the fog. Roots. Rocks and roots and roots and rocks and rocks and roots and roots and rocks. Mostly roots. Some pebbles. Oh, I can't see what's around the river bend or trail bend or whatever bend. I think we're near the bottom. We got, well, maybe not. Ooh, that wind. Woo! Ah! Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! The close one.
So as you finish bombing down Dowells Draft, you finish up on this wide open gravel road and come around the Forest Service gate here in a second. Dumps you out into the Braley Pond area where you would go left for race day up 250, but here we're going right and we're settling in for a long, slow pedal climb. It goes up and over a small little ridge where the Wild Oak Trail intersects. You keep going straight and you're going to hang a left to start the long, slow death climb. So we'll tune in here in a bit, let you know how that's going. Not a whole lot to see visually speaking. So important to note that there's water along your left turn on Route 95, but once you get up onto the West Virginia border, the proper death climb, there's no water. So we filtered some water here on the creek, lots of this along the initial climb, and then we're going to get you into a time warp here to give you a full pull or close to it of the death climb in hyperspeed mode. So let's hop on and enjoy some pain and suffering without actually doing the pain and suffering. So gravel turns to dirt here with the right-hand turn right at the West Virginia border, and we start the proper death climb, cruising along the ridge that gets us up to what we would call the Killing Fields. Not a whole lot of special advice for managing this climb. Keep your heart rate down, keep your cadence low, slow, and steady, and just keep pushing on. Things get weird, you start talking to yourself, and then you get passed by butterflies.
Here we are, up the death climb, maybe a mile in, not 100% sure. I think the death climb itself is roughly 3, and we are sitting and spinning. I've been passed by no less than 3 butterflies, fluttering faster than I am pedaling. My butt hurts. We're about 27 miles into the ride right now. Definitely feeling it. Not many views to be had because it's so overgrown. Got good water and fuel, but we are dragging right now. Whew.
So coming to the end of the death climb, you're going to look for a hard right turn onto Bald Mountain Road, FSR 427. So looking at the full death climb, the gravel plus the dirt, we were 2 hours and 15 minutes on that trail, averaging 5.5 miles an hour for 12.2 miles. The actual dirt hard right, the death climb proper, is a little shorter, obviously, only on that portion of it for an hour, 5.3 miles, averaging 4.9. So you get an idea of what you're in for. The worst part about all of this is once you finish the quote-unquote death climb, you get a short little reprieve downhill here, and then you get to go up what's called the Killing Fields. Jim's GoPro died, so we only got a short clip of this, and I'll chime in a little bit later with what's going on. Basically, there's, I don't know, 15, 16, 18, 12, there's a bunch of fields that you cross on this wide open, sort of gravelly, sort of dirty, sort of muddy, sort of boggy. It's a sufferfest. It's steeper than the death climb. It's shorter than death climb, but between the two, I found the Killing Fields to be way more brutal as you march on towards the intersection with Chestnut Ridge section of the Wild Oak Trail.
That looks like a climb. All right. Get ready to go down and then up the Killing Fields. Down first. Well, we found a gate. My intelligence tells me that there's somewhere between 13 and 18 killing fields. We've passed somewhere between 8 and 10, but who the hell knows? I've tried to count. It's kind of stupid. It's dry, but the trail is soaking wet, and every other pedal stroke sinks your tire to the rim.
Getting my bike underneath this fence is complicated.
I would just bunny hop it under normal circumstances, but today I just want to leave it here and go to sleep. All right, killing fields, aptly named. All right, killing field number 13 or 11 or who cares? Walking a little bit, little crampage. Misty as all heck. Super crazy. Yeah, the killing fields suck way worse than the death climb.
Yes.
Way worse. Death climb was longer, but it was just gradual and it just had a firm tread base. This stuff you sank and the rocks are loose and it just sucks. About a quarter mile, maybe 3/10 of a mile to the intersection with Chestnut. We get to descend for a change. We might walk the whole way and I'm fine with that. See you over there.
So we finally made it to the Wild Oak Trail intersection to get ready to head down Chestnut Ridge. The full Killing Fields climb was 4.3 miles. It took us just under an hour, averaging 4.75 miles an hour. As you heard me say, it was way worse than the death climb, but we made it up slowly but surely. Excited to descend this area, but interesting to note, as we put together this run, basically downhill, I thought, back to the car, there is multiple little uphill peaks that just kill the flow on this trail. So it was fun. There were rowdy sections, but I've got to say, overall, I was a little disappointed in how all this played out. I was expecting more reward, and it was chopped up by these climbs. So we're going to head down the Wild Oak Trail towards Skidmore Fork, where we will hang a hard right and head on down to the car.
Whoa. Super overgrown. Can't see the trail. We are gonna take it as it comes here. As it comes in, don't hit that too much. Climb. Nice. Water bar, root bar. step down thingies. Wet, though, loose. On this route that I was expecting. Pretty. A little steep. Hop. Is this right? Quad cramp. There we go. Woo! That's sweet. And it's climbing. The rocks. Woo! What's that? You good? Yeah. Cool overlook. Oh, baby. Steep.
So coming up to this fork in the trail, you could go left to stay on the Wild Oak Trail down to its trailhead at the bottom of the ridge, or you go right here onto Skidmore Fork. This is what the SM100 course does. So we are at the end of our ride. Skidmore Fork is tight and narrow, it's overgrown, but it's pretty fun, mostly downhill, and we were out of gas, or mostly out of gas, on our adventure of the day. So we'll get you a few more clips here as we get back through Skidmore to the bottom of the trail back to the road.
I can't see anything. Can't see around the bend. Can't see any of the rocks that are buried on the trail. we're moving fast. And I'm tired, yeah. Butterflies in the sky. That place is high. Woo! Anytime. Toss it up.
So following Skidmore Fork out, you go through a couple of creek crossings and you get back to the road. All in, we are at 43 miles and almost 7,000 feet of climbing. It was an epic adventure. I think we all felt like we had a little bit of gas left in the tank, but we were pretty wiped by the end of this. Ups, lots of ups, a lot more ups than downs. Best thing about this ride is you get back to where we parked our cars and pedaled up to the Todd Lake campground, day use area. Went for a nice swim in the lake before we went home. So looking at the Relive video here, you'll get a feel for what this overall adventure was all about. You start out on the road and then start the Hankey Mtn Fire Road climb to the Lookout Mountain intersection you see there. And you keep climbing Hankey Mtn, part of the Wild Oak Trail, until you get to the Crying Tree summit. And then you start a lot of fun mostly downhill descent on Dowells Draft. That hard right, you start up the road in the gravel, a little down, a little up, left, until we start the death climb proper. Like we said, almost 12 miles of slow, gradual gravel climbing here until we get to this hard right-hand turn onto the dirt. And we start death climb proper up along the West Virginia border. Beautiful overlooks until we hang another hard right after some more elevation into the killing fields. You can almost see them there in the map to the summit with the Wild Oak Trail again. Chestnut Ridge down, but man, there's a few ups into this. So overall it's fun. It does get some speed all the way down to Skidmore Fork, and there we are back at the lake, Todd Lake. An epic adventure to be sure. Definitely recommend it, but way more ups than downs. The only thing I would call out on this particular ride, there's so much out here that you can't help but have a great time. So if you get out there, man, have some fun. Let me know. I'll go with you. Let's find that flow.